Interesting phenomenon in the watch world. Most of the watches that are labeled as world time watches only show 24 time zones. And you might think to yourself, Michael, there are 24 time zones, but you'd be wrong. There's actually 37 because there's a lot of places that are either off a little bit by a half hour or even by a quarter hour. So what do you do if you have business around the world or you're a world traveler, you're in that jet set and you really need to show all 37 time zones? I've got the solution for you coming up. So to solve our problem of 24 time zones shown on most world time watches, and you can look at our YouTube channel, you can search world time and see the other videos we've done about why this was an amazing advancement in the world of watchmaking, that watchmaker Louis Cartier came up with the system where you could see not just one time zone, not just two or three, but all the time zones in the world at the same time on a watch. Phenomenal invention, one of the coolest movements you'll ever see. But most of them do show 24 time zones. And here from Vacheron Constantin, we have the reference 7700V. It comes in 3 different dial colors. We have 2 of them shown here. The third one's sort of a bronzy color. We don't have that one in stock at the moment, but certainly if you type in the search bar at SwissWatchExpo.com, Vacheron, Overseas, World Time, you'll see what we have available at the moment. But these are fantastic watches. They are really nice, substantial size. They're 43.5 millimeters in diameter. But when you slide it on the wrist, the whole world is really crazy right now about steel sport watches. And this one is really cool because not only do you get the look of a sport watch on a really great steel bracelet, it just tapers really nicely from the watch, sits great on the wrist. But it comes with additional straps as well, and just like all the watches in the Vacheron Constantin Overseas 3rd generation, there's a little thumbnail latch here that you can activate and just pull the steel bracelet off. It comes with 2 additional straps so that you've got a rubber one for really sporty times and an alligator one for when you want to really dress it up, or a steel one just for everyday wear. So you really can get kind of all the bases covered with one watch with the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. The 3rd generation one especially, it's got the exhibition case back so that you can see the movement. The movement is a caliber 2460 WT. I'm not sure what that WT stands for. You can let us know. But it's a beautiful movement. It does have the hallmark of Geneva. It's got the 22 karat gold rotor, which has got some beautiful finishing details. Of course, for it to have the Geneva hallmark, it's going to have all the screw heads polished and all the edges beveled and the Côte de Genève all lined up on all the plates. It's really beautiful. But what the exhibition caseback isn't showing you about this movement is that it's also magnetic resistance. It has a soft iron core protecting the movement from magnetic fields, which is something interesting to see in a watch of this caliber, that they've gone to the lengths to make it a practical everyday watch that you normally wouldn't see. So it's magnetic resistant. It's also water resistant to 150 meters, which is interesting in itself that they really intended. I mean, it is a watch called Overseas. That's something that you could use in the water as well. Of course, with the steel bracelet or the rubber strap, it's really inviting you to do that. The crown is a screw down crown, of course, to get it to that depth. No crown guards, makes it easy to get to the crown, even though it's a little bit on the small side. It's easily manipulated. When you look at the overall aesthetic of the watch, you do see sort of this Gerald Genta influence where the case is flat and then it tapers perfectly into the bracelet, and each link is tapered. They're all removable, by the way, all the links, so there's essentially infinite sizing available on this bracelet. But you do see this bevel on the edge of the watch that carries right on into the bracelet and also on the straps that are included. So it's a nice design touch. When you look at this one, there's a lot of interesting little details that you might not notice right away. So like with all of the Vacheron Generation 3 Overseas, you'll see there's a sort of a plate that the bezel fits onto. And then the bezel, of course, reflects this Maltese cross logo from Vacheron, and also you see it reflected in the links of the bracelet and of course on the clasp. It's sort of a sandblasted Maltese cross on the clasp, which is a double trigger, double deployant release. But let's get to the dial, because of course that's the star of the show, not only on this watch, but really just about any watch. But the way it works, it has a center map of the world. It's the point of view of looking down on the North Pole, but you can see the continents and the oceans. The oceans are this really beautiful velvety finish. And then there's a series of 3 discs that are mounted onto it. So the first one you see, it's sort of a translucent lacquer, and it has the names of the cities. And of course, you know, you'll have to find your city. Here in Atlanta, we just use the one that says New York, as offensive as that is. The time zones that are on the main hour are in black, and then the ones that are on the quarter hour or the half hour are in red. So you can actually dial in. I know we get a lot of clients who are Indian, and they're always asking about the time zones in places like Delhi that are on the half hour. This one will take care of that for you. And the way it works is real easy. There's a little triangle right here on the watch, not on the bezel, not on the dial, but there's a triangle here just to remind you that your reference time zone is the one that's lined up at 6 o'clock, and that's the one that is showing on the main clock. But then as you look around the dial, you can see there is a second ring outside the names of the cities that shows you the hour with the AM and PM indicated, because it's shaded or lighter. And then the third ring shows you really gives you the hour indices and the minute indices for you to be able to tell time on the watch. You might turn your wrist a little bit and not be able to tell exactly. So they included that. And that's where the name Vacheron Constantin appears as well. So it's a lot to fit on a dial, but they've done it beautifully and gracefully. The watch is easy to operate. It's fantastic the way you can see all the time zones, and it's really probably one of the most practical complications that you'll ever see. We have the blue dial one here as well. If you look on our website, you'll be able to see there's always, we feature for every watch somewhere between about 8 and 12 pictures that are photos of the actual watch that's for sale. We always show you the actual box, the papers, the extra straps, anything extra that comes with the watch. You'll always be able to see it on the SwissWatchExpo site, and you can click on the pictures to go into a gallery view where you can really zoom in. It's almost like looking at the watch with a jeweler's loupe. And our photographers are phenomenal. Of course, you've heard people talk about Penny. She's the one behind the camera today, and she does a great job with the rest of the team as well. But anytime that you're interested in any of these watches, if you have any questions, just give us a call. We'll be happy to go over all the details while we have the watch in hand. We also offer virtual appointments where we can set up a Zoom or FaceTime call and really show you the watch, show you our operation, give you a tour of the store. And we'll ship these out to you. Our watches are in stock and ready to go. And as soon as we ship them out to you, we'll send you the tracking number, and they'll be in your hands in no time. So give us a call, like and subscribe. And these watches are probably one of the coolest things we've ever reviewed here at SwissWatchExpo. So enjoy.